It's mid-January 2025, and if you remember from my last video, I showed you when I was framing these stairs how I hung them down and built the forms around them. So now that I got the framing done, I'm going to show you how the railing turned out and the steps, and talk a little bit about why I do mine this way. Okay, so this has the Trex decking, and what I'm telling you right now is I did the risers at 5 5/8. Now, why did I do that? Because I don't like open risers. I like it when you go and walk up the stairs that the riser will keep your foot from going underneath and tripping. So the reason I did the 5 5/8 riser is because the Trex board is 5.5 inches. So if you want to do it like this, you could go up to just a little under 6.5, because the Trex is an inch thick, so 5.5 plus an inch, 6.5, and it'll still hide in that crack right there. Okay, but you don't want to go too close to 6.5 or any more than 6.5. Okay, and then when I cut the stringers, on the framing at 10 inches, and then 5.5 and 5.5 is 11, plus the 1/4 inch in between there. That gives me like 11 1/4. So you have a little bit of an overhang with the nosing. So that's why I do it like that. So it's pretty comfortable to walk up. You see it fits my whole foot. I don't want to cut it to 12 inches because then it weakens my stringer board. So I'd rather just do the overhang and cut this tread at 10 inches. And then up here on this one, I just ran the board like this, the same overhang, and then I ran the other ones like this. Okay, so the key to these stairs right here is the skirt board. You see this? Because now sometimes the Trex is kind of slippery, and now your foot won't slip off that way. And the reason I do the skirt board is because then when I go to figure out the angle of the railing, to figure out the angle of the handrail and the guardrail, all I do is I measure off that skirt board, and I've got that line, that angle line. I got that angle line everywhere. I don't have to worry about every time there's nosing to only measure off the nosing. So this is how they do the railing out here in Heber. They just bolt it onto the outside, and I don't usually like doing it this way, but in this case it turned out fine, because you see these great big lag bolts with those great big washers. You could really tighten those down like crazy, and that's more solid than I expected it to be. Normally what I do is I take a 6x6 and I run a 6x6 all the way up, and then I build my railing onto that. But they don't want to do it like that, because they're trying to match the rest of the house. So this is an addition. I was just hired to come out and frame the stairs. They already had framed the addition. So and then down here I left the skirt board up off the concrete, because if you just sit it down there in the snow and the water wicks up, that's where it's going to rot. So just remember that. And I don't know if you didn't see from last time, but I had the forms around the stair stringers. You remember that? But I didn't have this bracket. What I did is, when we poured the concrete, I just shoved that bracket down in there, and then with that bracket on here, you go to shake it, and that's what gives it some rigidity down here. I wish I just had a little bit of a longer bracket, but that's the only one I had at the hardware store. But it's plenty fine. And so why did I put a handrail on if there's already a guardrail? Well, because they say you want a graspable handrail. They don't consider this as graspable. This would be a code violation. So they have you put a graspable handrail going up the stairs, and then I just returned it back. And the reason I put one post right next to the other is so I could do just that, so I could return that handrail back into the guardrail. So that's what it looks like that way. And that's it. We reused the old railing from what was there before. The painters are going to come out and fill all the gaps in and do whatever they do and make it pretty, and then paint it. So these stairs are done, and then I can move on to the next project, I guess. I've probably not be posting as much as I used to because I'm working as a school teacher now because the economy is just so horrible. So I found a little mid-year vacancy job and I'm teaching over there now. So on the weekends I'll still be working doing carpentry projects and everything. But those of you that have been following me for years, thanks for following me. And I know some of you have been helped out by this channel, so keep watching and keep learning and keep subscribing and liking. Thank you.